So I'm here with Josh Williams, the co-founder of Gowalla here at the AMP Summit in DC. How you doing, Josh?
Doing well.
So we got to hear a bit about the founding of Gowalla and the metaphor of iPhone as a passport. Pretty interesting. So how's the growth of your network been going the past year?
Remarkable. I mean, I think we came out of 0 to 60 over the last year, and building something that initially was just kind of going to be fun for us, and we were, I think, oddly in the right place at the right time.
For people who don't know what Gowalla is, could you explain it and why people would do it?
Gowalla is a service that inspires people to explore and share the world around them. I think we try to find the connection between the everyday and the extraordinary places in your life. It happens on a smartphone like an iPhone or Android. It also happens on the web where you can comment and on people's photos that they upload and the events that they've going to. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay, so it's a location-based social network that you can check into and connect with people using your mobile device.
That's right.
Great. So one of the things that it's interesting to watch this fall is going to be the use of social media around the election season.
Yes.
How is Gowalla preparing for and getting involved there?
I think one of the early things we saw in Gowalla is people basically self-organizing their own events, and we saw it happen with Livestrong Day events, races, even simple things like large weddings where people were checking in. And as we moved into campaign season, we realized people are going to be creating locations for town hall meetings, for polling places. So we actually created an entire category of basically political events that can be added. And I think that this mid-cycle election is going to be kind of a dry run for bigger things to come in 2 years.
So there's essentially a civic participation category in Gowalla?
Yes.
And you said you've got some politicians who are using it now?
Yeah. So we're actually Charlie Crist has an account. He's sharing his favorite places. We've had a few people running for Congress, which is it's really interesting because you can kind of start seeing the stereotypical, I'm in a diner shaking hands with people and kissing babies. Now people are actually checking in at the diner where they're shaking hands and kissing babies. And even John King at CNN now has gotten an account where he's checking in on his 50 state tours. He goes around and kind of get the state of the nation. So I think it's pretty remarkable. We're seeing a lot with volunteerism as well, and people adding. It's National, National Parks and Lands Day this weekend, and people are checking in around that as well.
Now, my parents are not as into location-based social networking as my generation might be. They don't have the same sense that going onto Facebook to do that, or any of these other more mobile networks is something that they're engaged with. Generation-wise, a different relationship. Millennials have a different relationship with that and each other. You can see that as they move around in the dark places between the updates. What's the potential for using these things to really get them to be more engaged with their community and potentially to vote?
So I think one of the things we're really looking at is providing value, via the web that doesn't just happen on a smartphone. And so people can come in and engage, even if it's more of a consumer type habit on the web, even if they don't have the latest phone or they're not, out checking in actively, that they can still come and they can see where are the polling places that are happening. They can do this online at Gowalla, or they can see what are on a practical level, what are the popular restaurants in this city, or what are the best scenic viewpoints is added by the community on Gowalla. And so I think providing easy tools that are valuable from a consumer level, that starts to explain the value prop of these services beyond just I'm going out and checking in.
So as you look at the data, what is the demographic breakdown, and how are young people acting around civic participation using the network?
So I think our core is definitely early 20s to late 30s, maybe in 40. We definitely have a fair amount of people over the age of 40 on the service, but the bulk is definitely that 20 to 40 range. 60% is domestic, about 40% is international. It surprises us. Again, I mentioned a moment ago that one of the first large events we saw take place in Gowalla was basically a hippie festival in Austin called Eeyore's Birthday, and it was kind of the last thing we expected to crop up on an idle Saturday morning, but 100 people checked in there and were uploading photos. Again, we've seen pride parades become really popular. We've seen charity events like Livestrong races become popular, music festivals and the like. And so I think we'll see the trends move from, traditional events like concerts and baseball games and the like toward more, activism type things over time as people become aware of how they can manipulate a service like this to do remarkable things.
Now, Leslie Sanchez mentioned that social media has as a special vector for reaching minority populations, something that's actually backed up by Pew Internet research
Yes.
on how traditionally disempowered populations have the opportunity to participate in the national conversation and get information where maybe they didn't before. Do you have any plans to introduce Spanish or other languages to Gowalla in the future?
We actually have a Spanish localization now in Gowalla. We have a couple languages. I think we do French, Italian. I couldn't tell you all of them right now, Japanese. But we definitely are starting to see, I was even just in Argentina where a lot of the spots are, in Spanish translated down there. We're going to have to start thinking more about it, in a kind of a formal way as well as international, use grows and Spanish language use grows as well.
Great. Well, Josh, it was a real pleasure speaking to you, and I guess I should go check in now.
Sounds like a plan.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.